September is coming to an end, and guess what? Almost all altcoins are rejecting weekly support levels. But the big question is, are we going to get the October we've been waiting for? Hello everyone, Richard here and welcome to a new weekly overview here on AltCryptoTalk. Today, I'll be going over 10 top altcoins to buy in October. So let's get started, and of course, don't forget to smash that like button if you like such content. Starting with Pendle, we have been overall bullish trading within this rising wedge pattern, and we are currently rejecting the lower bound of it, lining up perfectly with a very strong support. Previously support resistance here again and again, and now since price broke it to the upside and currently retesting it, it's acting as support. So long story short, for the bulls to take over and start this big impulse movement targeting the 7.5 resistance zone, we need to see a break above the upper bound here. If you zoom into H4 time frame, you can see it even cleaner. If you want the bulls to take over, we will need a break above this previous major high and also the upper red trend line. Once we have it, expect this nice big pump. Next we've got Pol, or previously Matic. We have been overall bullish trading within this rising channel. It's a very clean price action pattern. Higher lows followed by higher highs, and now guess what? We're expecting the next big impulse movement to start and push this one or Pol towards the upper bound of this channel. Of course, no matter how cheap an altcoin is, no matter how strong a support is or a trend, we need extra confirmation. Don't ever buy blindly. Always wait for the bulls to prove to you that they are strong enough to take over. For example, just by following the market structure or by waiting for a previous major high, which is in our case at 0.2314. Once we break above it, we'll be expecting the bulls to take over and start the next impulse movement, pushing Pol towards the upper bound of this channel, and of course the round number 0.3. Next we've got WMTX. I've covered this one previously in the previous Coin of the Week article. You can clearly see that we are currently in a correction phase. Previously, we have been waiting for this one to break above this big accumulation phase. Once we broke above it, the momentum has been shifted from bearish range and we are currently bullish, or what we call a markup phase. We got our first impulse movement, which was responsible of the shift and this trend, and currently in a correction phase. We are now waiting for the second bullish phase, which would be confirmed by breaking above this channel. In this case, we'll be expecting the first target towards this area, big resistance zone towards the 0.277, and the next target would be around 0.35. Meanwhile, would be bearish medium term and short term, and as we approach the 0.2 round number and the structure and the lower trend line in orange, we'll be looking for short term longs. Next we've got LPT. Weekly time frame, can't really say much, approaching its all-time lows. Medium term from daily time frame, we have been trading within this big flat range for a while, and since we are rejecting the lower bound of it, we'll be looking of course for short-term longs, targeting a short-term target around the 8 round number, and then after breaking above this big structure and resistance at 8, we'll be expecting further upside towards the 10 round number, and then after breaking above it towards the 15 round number. But you know what, let's take it step by step. We are currently around the lower bound of this range, so we are waiting for the bulls to take over and push towards the first target at 7.5 or even 8. For the bulls to take over, a break above the previous structure and major high at 6.25 will be needed. We'll be expecting this next. Next we've got SPK. Daily time frame, we are currently retesting this big demand zone. As you clearly notice, we've got an explosive movement from here, and it's still a fresh area. Price hasn't retested it yet, and we are currently in the making of this retest. That's why I'll be keeping an eye on this area around 0.04, 0.03, where I'll be looking of course for longs. For the bulls to take over and start this crazy next big bullish movement, we need to see a break above this falling channel, which would also be a break above the structure at 0.06. Once we have it, expect this movement towards the 0.01 as a first target, as a round number, and then 0.15. Meanwhile, since we are bearish, we are waiting for it to retest the lower bound at 0.04, which intersects perfectly with the lower bound of the falling channel, where we'll be looking for short-term longs targeting the upper bound of the falling channel. Next, we've got Ethena. I've mentioned this one previously in one of my articles on AltCryptoTalk. Of course, we'll be retesting this area here. And of course, we'll be looking for longs targeting the upper bound of this falling channel, which would give us like 40-50% movement from here. Not bad, right? Anyway, we are currently retesting a very strong oversold zone, which intersects perfectly with a 0.5 round number. The strongest round numbers here are 0.5, 1, and 1.5. Since we are approaching one of the strongest round numbers, we'll be looking, of course, for longs. For the bulls to confirm the next big impulse movement, a break above this structure. As you can see, a very, very strong one, previously acting as a support, now acting as a resistance. We need to see a break above the 0.625, and then we'll be expecting this big, nice pump. Next, we've got Tau, Bittensor. Support zone, a very strong one. This one has been holding above the support for a long period of time. Previous support, turned resistance, support again and again. As long as we are above 295, we'll be expecting this movement. Of course, first short term towards the upper bound of the falling channel around 350, and then after we break above this falling channel, we'll be expecting further continuation towards the 400 round number. But for now, you know what, let's take it step by step. H4 time frame for the bullish takeover and start this nice big movement towards this supply, lining up with the upper bound at 350. A break above this previous high is needed, which would be around 317. Once we have it, we can look for longs targeting the 350. Next, we've got ZK. Very strong support zone. You can see it very clearly on weekly and daily time frames. Support 0.05 round number as well. Very, very strong area, previously rejected multiple times. However, we are bearish, as you clearly notice, making lower lows and lower highs. So, as a clear understanding, we need to see a break above this area, the structure and the upper trend line for the bullish takeover towards the 0.08. If you zoom into H4 time frame, you can see it very clearly, forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern. Once we break it, expect this, and then from a medium term perspective from H4 and daily, we need to see a break above this structure, this supply, and the upper trend line here to invalidate everything holding ZK down. Once we have this break, we'll be expecting movement first towards the first targets at 0.07 and then towards the 0.1. Next, we've got Hype, one of the best performers of this month. Support, multiple rejections from this area, overall bullish trend, very, very strong structure around this zone. If you remember, we have been looking for longs all the way since last month or last couple of months. Anyway, let's take it step by step or make the update. Lately, we've rejected the lower band and we are currently approaching a very strong structure at 50 round number. Once we have a break above it, expect further continuation towards the 60-62 and vice versa. If we retest this lower band of this rising channel in orange, we'll be looking for new short-term longs targeting the 48. Last but not least, XDC. Weekly time frame, very strong support zone. Previously support, resistance here, and support again. 0.06, 0.07 round numbers as well. And we are currently in a big correction phase. After breaking below these lows, XDC is now in a correction. Previously we had this impulse, correction now, and we are waiting for the next impulse where we'll be expecting a higher high. The previous high was around the 0.1 round number, so of course the first target would be around this area. But for the bullish takeover and start this crazy movement upward towards the 0.1 round number, a break above the upper bound of this falling channel is needed. Once we have it, expect this or look for longs on the retest trend following longs, and vice versa. As we approach the lower bound, which intersects perfectly with the structure 0.066 and the lower bound of the channel, we'll be looking for short-term longs targeting the 0.075, which is the upper bound of the falling channel. Let me know if you have one of these altcoins on your watch list or even holding it, and which altcoins you would like me to cover next in the comment section below. And I'll see you hopefully next week.